Hey, my name is Leatrice, and I'm doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I decided to generate this video to reach a specific audience, right? And that audience is someone that has experienced the loss of a loved one due to homicide here in the Lake County area. Although this is a national problem, I choose to be specific, right? Here in the area in which I reside. Um, my story goes a little bit like this. My son, LaDarius was murdered on June 6th of 2021. I call it a shot in the dark at Bowen Park because that's exactly what it was. It was a shot in the dark, right? Bullet struck my baby, killed him. I was shattered, y'all. Shattered. Didn't know which way to turn, which way to go, what I was going to do. I'm talking about when I got the news, I was literally pacing in circles in my living room floor. Just like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, man, very difficult time for our family. And I'm sure, as well as other families that have experienced such thing, right? I'm talking about left here to pick up the pieces. I remember just asking God, Lord, just teach me how to live without my baby. I mean, because, like, for real, I wanted to die. I didn't see life. I didn't see how I was going to live without him. I didn't see that at all. So that was my prayer, right? I was angry, of course, bitter. I wanted the person that murdered my son to die in the same manner. I wanted his mama to feel the same pain that I felt. Yep. That has since changed, right? I no longer feel that bitterness. I happen to believe that the folk that's out here shooting are victims too, right? Victims of some type of trauma that went on in their lives to where they are attracted to the life in which they choose to live, right? I got a little history in that too. Just wanting to be accepted. So I'm gonna hang with Lil Johnny now, right? Because they accept me. So now I gotta do the things that they do. Even if it goes against every fiber in my being, it's so important for me to be accepted that I must do what it is they say do, or do what they do, right? So if they toting guns, if they slanging dope, they doing dope, smoking weed, whatever it is, right? I got to be right there, right? You know what I'm saying? I can't be doing nothing no different. Man. So, once I began to kind of see things different, right? I'm talking about from a different perspective, um, it led me on a healing journey. And in this healing journey, I began to accept that my baby was murdered by the hands of another. I no longer tried to think that, people say, oh, things happen for a reason, and, God, see, I tried that. That wasn't working for me, right? I don't believe that God had anything to do with my baby's death. I happen to think it is what it is. It was what it was. Somebody was shooting in the park at someone, and they hit my baby, right? That's it. So once I accepted that, things became a little bit easier for me. Maybe I should say a lot easier, right? I ain't go to the length of where I began to pray for the people, pray for the mom and all that. No. Did I go through a period of damning God? I sure did. Sometimes I could still be angry, right? And I believe that loved ones that have experienced such tragedy has damned God too, right? And it's such a taboo topic, right? We're not supposed to say that. It's okay to say that. And I want you to know that it's okay to say that, right? And if you're afraid to say that to somebody, it's okay to say it to me. I mean, we left with questions, thoughts, feelings, right? That oftentimes we're afraid to share with someone because we're afraid of being judged, man. I mean, because this is a very judgmental world. Very judgmental, right? And I want to create that safe place, right? I want to be that means of support for the people that are having those thoughts, right? I want to advocate. I want to be direct support. No, I ain't no doggone, what you call it, an expert. Well, let me say this. I'm an expert by way of firsthand experience, right? If you need someone to go to the funeral parlor with you because you ain't never did this before, I'm that person. If you need to go to a church and ask if your child's, your loved ones' services can be held there, I want to be right there with you, right? See, all I got right now is to take you to the people that help me. The community do come together, right? In such detrimental cases. And if it wasn't for the community, honestly, I don't know where I would be, right? And I remember just, laying there with these thoughts. It's like, okay, what about us that's left to pick up these pieces? What about us that's left to navigate life without our loved one? We grieving. Most of the time it's improper, right? Because God forbid if you got other children, let's just take them out for a minute. You gotta live. You working a job. Maybe you get time off, bereavement or whatever, to mourn your loved one, okay, my employer give me 10 days. That ain't enough. Look, I'm still grieving, right? And okay, you can get the FMLA, take a leave of absence. But if you don't have a PTO in your bank to be paid while you off, you broke, right? Rent still needs to be paid. Them condo people still want their money. They gonna say, "Oh, so sorry to hear about that, but when can you make this payment?" Right? And that's a whole nother topic within itself. Um, but again, these are some of the things that I experienced that I'm sure again other ones have too. It's a mess out here, y'all. It really is. I'm talking about the murder rate is ridiculous. I'm talking about every day, two and three times in a day, you hearing about this mess. It's like, when does it stop? Right? When does it stop? I don't know. I don't have the answer. Uh, I don't have a cure to make the people start putting the guns down and stop shooting. I want to believe that some of the secondary victims in which I mentioned um, is responding from trauma also. And I want to believe that some of them can be impacted by learning the damage that they really do cause to families. I believe that, right? And, for me, I treat people how I want to be treated, right? Always have. Um, I looked at that as a bad thing because it was the way my brains is wired, right? It's always the negative, and learning some of the decisions that I made, right, uh, was a response of trauma. Not knowing, right, that this trauma started way back, right? Way back. I'm talking about, I would always reference this 5-year-old little girl. Not knowing why, I just did, right? And through my healing journey, she kept coming up. So I brought her up, right? And I began to talk about what this 5-year-old little girl had witnessed, had experienced, right? I had no idea that I had been going through life at damn near 50 at the time, responding from that place. It's the place that I operated from. Damn near every decision I made was based upon this 5-year-old little girl. Yeah. And I learned that kind of sticking and staying with people, right? What we call it, staying in relationships past the expiration date, giving them a chance after chance after chance. I'm talking about platonic relationships, intimate relationships, right? Um, grace. Grace. is what I extended, right? Um, in a very unhealthy way. In a very unhealthy way. Um, but again, I had to learn that. And all of the forgiveness and all of the grace that I was bestowing upon other people, I had to learn to do that for me, right? Um, I wasn't. I'm talking about I can be so hard on myself, right? I want to take responsibility for every doggone thing. I don't want to give myself a break about nothing. But I learned to do that, right? Although I've heard this saying many times, it wasn't until I was 50 till it finally clicked. And that is, what you did is not who you are, right? What you did is not who you are. And baby, that put some fire up under my tail, right? And I'm thankful for the message, right? I'm thankful for the healing journey. Um, Going back to that 5-year-old little girl, I had to go see about her. I had to go see about her. I had to talk about all the feelings that 5-year-old little girl had experienced. And I'm learning to manage my inner child, so to speak, right? I'm talking about literally, before I say something, I gotta, okay, wait. Before I respond, I should say, like, okay, is this coming from that little girl? Or is this coming from that healed Leatrice, right? And sometimes I just can't say nothing. Because it could take more than a minute, right? Um, the healing has been amazing. It has been tremendous, right? Um, Although I don't believe that God had anything to do with my baby's death, I know He got everything to do with my healing, right? I'm talking about being able to actually um, see that all things work together for the good. See, because if my baby hadn't have been murdered, I wouldn't have cried out to God the way that I did. I wouldn't have asked the Lord, right, to teach me how to live without Him. I wouldn't have never did that. And because I asked that, right, He said, okay, I got you. And all of these revelations began to appear, right? I'm talking about I learned to trust my intuition. God given intuition, my gut, my spirit, right? And when I follow that, I don't be going wrong, y'all, right? It's just like, oh, okay, well, just do, oh, okay. Well, that wasn't so bad. And from that, I began to believe in myself, right? I'm not as indecisive anymore, right? Learning to love myself, right? I remember a sister asking me, this had to be about 2007, 2008, did I love myself? And I told her, yeah, I believe that I do, but it was something in my spirit that said you need to pen that, right? And revisit it sometime later. I wasn't upset that she asked the question. It was just like when I responded, something told me, oh, no, you don't. And although I didn't get it then, I get it now, right? Um, Again, just the beauty. It's like, okay, you a breath of fresh air, right? I say I'm a rescue inhaler. I bring life to anything I touch, right? I have no ill will, no ill intent for nobody at all. I'm not a vengeful person, although I've been in some situations and wish that I was. I'm gonna get my lick back. I just ain't cut from that damn cloth, right? I just ain't. Um, Cause look, going back to treating people how you want to be treated. I don't want nobody after me. No, no. No, not for you paying me back, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't want that in my life. I don't do drama like that. Um, but going back to um the families that have been left behind, um, I want to hear your story. I want to hear what it's been like for you, right? Because I'm sure that there are so many similarities that we would wow one another on this journey. I want to thank you all for your time. This is all I got right now. To be continued. Good day.